I am almost level 40 in Elder Scrolls Online and level cap is 50, so I figured why not go ahead and make a review video about it. There's no story spoilers because I have no idea what's going on in the story. And of course, this is an MMO, so a lot of my complaints or things that I like or dislike about the game could change at any given moment because of a patch. Hopefully they will patch it soon, but that could make some of these things I say completely obsolete, so bear with me. I've been devoting all of my free time to Elder Scrolls Online. I'm completely hooked, I'm completely addicted, and I love it. Which is weird because if you remember a few years ago, my Skyrim review, I hated Skyrim. I hated it, and you guys hated me for it. But I love ESO. Go figure. So first I want to talk about why I love Elder Scrolls Online so much. Mostly because the world is huge. And not only is it just huge, there's tons of stuff to find. ESO definitely caters towards the people like me that are completionists and collectors. I love exploring a map. I love it. I love starting at one tippy top point of a map and then like zigzagging all the way down to the bottom, doing all the quests, finding all the treasures that I can, doing everything, and I don't let myself go to the next map until I've 100% completed the one I was just in. Now that can sometimes be a pain in the ass when there's nothing really to find. There's no hidden treasures, there's no hidden resources, there's no, I don't know, just hidden bosses to kill, but ESO takes care of all of that. There's always things to find. There's always like treasure chests to find or side quests that you'll come upon. There's a character, I cannot pronounce his name to save my life, but I think he's like a lizardy character, and he is hidden all over the world. And when you find him, if you find him once, I think in several different maps you'll unlock an achievement. So there's always tons of stuff that you're looking for. Not to mention also the resources that you need for your crafting career that you pick up, whichever crafting thing you want to do. I'm specializing in blacksmithing and in enchanting because I figured if I want to be able to completely customize and make my own most badassest weapons and heavy armor for me and then enchant them, enchantment, I might as well specialize in both. So that's what I'm doing. I'm running around, always on the lookout for ore and rune stones. So of course that leads into the whole crafting mechanic of Elder Scrolls, which I adore. Other MMOs have crafting, you know, careers and stuff you can do, like Guild Wars 2, which I will probably reference a lot because I think Guild Wars 2 is the best MMO I've ever played, better than World of Warcraft, easily, hands down. But I don't actually like any of the crafting aspects of Guild Wars 2. I find it very confusing. There were some of them, because I did dabble in all of the different, they're not called careers, it's called something else in ESO, and I can't quite think of it right now. I think it's just called crafting. I dabbled in all of them to find out which one I wanted to do the most. And there are 3 different ones where you're making like armor or clothing. There's clothier, clothing, whatever, I don't know exactly what it's called, but making like light and medium armor. Then there's blacksmithing, which is heavy armor and also weapons. Then there is woodworking, which does like shields, bows, staves, those kind of weapons. Those 3 have one of my favorite aspects of it, which is the researching. And that adds to my needing to complete everything because each different item under either the weapons tier or the armor tier has different traits you can unlock, like training. And if you have a weapon that's been made with a training trait, you get more XP in that skill in your skill tree. So if I'm using a dagger and the dagger has training, when I use that dagger, I will get more XP in the dual wield section of my skill tree. You can also add precise, which gives you better critical hits. You can, for armor, you can choose like well fitted, which ups its armor bonus, all sorts of different things. The way you unlock the traits to be able to then put them into any items you make is you have to go around the world and you find, you know, random loot everywhere. The loot is everywhere. I love games with tons of loot. There's so much loot in this game. So you find like a dagger, for instance, that's got exploration on it, which gives you bonus XP for exploring the world when you have it equipped. So then you have to research that item. Researching does destroy the item, so don't do it on an item you want to use. But it unlocks the ability to then create daggers with exploration on them, which is awesome, because you can truly 100% customize your own weapons and armor. I don't know if Skyrim had this, because I can't remember, so if it did, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool, and you guys are like, yeah, Skyrim had it, you idiot. I don't remember. I just we're not going to get into why I didn't like Skyrim. But this is just one of the reasons that is adding to how much I love ESO, and I'm able to get like immersed into it. Also, research takes sometimes forever. I think the lowest time is 6 hours real time. And right now I'm researching things that take 3 days, and it's all 3-day real time. So I'm sad, but I set a timer on my phone so that I know when my researching of an item is done. So I'll jump in the game. If I don't have time to play right then, I'll just jump in really quickly and be like, okay, research a new item. So I always have things researching. And if you want to know how pathetic I really am also, I also keep track of the items that are in my inventory that I want to research, so I know not to sell them or deconstruct them. And I have written beside them what I'm researching them for and what trait I'm opening up with them. Yeah. And there's also enchanting, alchemy, and provisions, provisions is basically cooking. I suck at cooking in real life, so it's definitely not something I want to pursue in a video game. Alchemy I dabbled in, but I didn't think it was very straightforward as to what the hell I was doing. And it was a little bit too much of a chance that I was taking that I could be making a potion that was completely useless. And I just wasted the regions that I found out in the world, and they're not easy to come by. So I gave that shit up. And now I'm enchanting things, and that's just you run around, you find rune stones. There's 3 different ones: aspect, potency, and essence. And those are basically, the first group is like increase, decrease, add, and then your second group is like health, stamina, flame, shock, and then your last one is how strong the rune is, and then you can put it onto your weapons and armor and stuff, which I really like doing that too. So that's just also one of the small things and reasons why I'm constantly on ESO. Also, you can dye your armor and stuff to make it really cool. My chick is running around this badass freaking armor, and it's like black, and it's got all these pink accents, and yeah, she's amazing looking. I love my character. I use a lot of ardent flame, which is, you know, I'm using like a leash and I'm pulling people towards me while they're on fire. And I also like to suck their souls up into soul gems. Another reason why I'm having a lot of fun in the game is the quests don't feel too repetitive. There are some where I'm like, ugh, go talk to this guy, talk to them. They tell me go talk to this person, I go talk to that person. It's just a little fetch questy, a little babysitting at times. But most of the quests, I think, are creative, they're fun, and they don't feel too repetitive to me. Now let's get on to things I don't like. And it's not going to make sense because the things I don't like are a lot bigger and a lot more, I guess, game-breaking than the reasons I like it. But I'm still having fun in the game, and that's all that matters, is if you're having fun in a game. Number one thing I hate about Elder Scrolls Online is the lack of a mini-map. You give me this giant world and I don't have a freaking mini-map. It's got, you know, kind of like that bar up top. It's when you turn your character, you can kind of see things that are in the distance by a little logo up top. That's great for FPSs, I think, not for an RPG, not for an open world giant MMO RPG. No. Give me a mini-map option at least. And then if you are going to make it kind of that look around and see what logos pop up on your screen, great, but then I would like a kind of distance gauge, like The Witcher and tons of other games. When you're running towards the waypoint you set down, or you're running towards a quest, give me a little bit of some kind of knowledge as to how far that is away. That's super really helpful, especially if I have more than one thing on my screen that I could go to gauge which quest marker to go to first because it's closer, or just to gauge maybe I should waypoint there instead of trying to walk it. Those things are very helpful in any game, and I'm very disappointed that they just kind of overlooked that and it's like, just run. Which, running in the game sucks because you have a stamina bar. You guys know how much I hate these things. It makes sense for things like if I'm doing some type of combat move that's going to take some stamina, fine. But I hate it when I'm running. Well, who the hell goes, hey, you know, running out of breath really sucks in real life? Let's put it in a video game. No, let me run as long as I freaking want. Yes, there are different items and there are different ways to level up your character where your stamina can be higher, but still, if I have a run option, just let me freaking run. God, it's a nightmare. And there are mounts in the game that you can get and you can level up their stamina and stuff too, but I really don't ever use my mount because I'm always looking for regions and treasure chests and random things that I'm coming across in the game that I just don't like having to pull out my mount and then put it back away. And pull it out and then get back off of it constantly. So I just walk / get frustrated that I can't run all the time everywhere. talking about different resources in the world and stuff you can collect. It's a little frustrating because in other MMOs I've played, like Guild Wars, and basically all the other ones I've played, if there's another player beside me, whether we're in a group or not, if they're running up to a resource like iron ore that's on the ground, if they run up to it, most MMOs don't make that resource disappear now for everybody in the map. That frustrates the fuck out of me because ESO, I can be running towards a region, running towards a treasure chest, running towards an ore loot thing. I can just be running towards anything. And if somebody gets there before me, it's gone for me as well. That is such bullshit. Such bullshit. The game does have separate loot when you guys are running through a dungeon at the same time and, you know, you guys kill enemies. That does separate the loot for everybody. But it doesn't do it to resources in the world and to treasure chests in the world. If I find a treasure chest that's hidden and so does somebody else at the same time, we should both get loot for it and we should both get awarded finding it. But no, everybody loses. Everybody except for the person who got there first. Totally sucks. I do like if I'm running around the world or in a dungeon or something and there's other players there that we can fight things together. I've been in dungeons before where the boss has completely annihilated me, completely kicked my ass. And so I'm like, okay, I revive myself there and I go hide in a corner until another player comes along and starts fighting that same boss. And then I'm like, yeah! And then I've got a little person that, you know, helps me take down the boss that completely killed me on their first try with me. So I really like that. That works, that's great, and the fact that the loot drops are separated, but I hate the fact that anything else you find in the world is just depending on whoever gets there first. Bullshit. Talking about playing with other people, the social aspect in this MMO is the most broken piece of shit I've ever experienced. Ever. There's some kind of problem with the adding people to your guild, sending messages, adding them as friends, whatever, from the in-game menu on all the systems. I've been reading about it on Xbox One, PS4, and the PC, where you can be standing in front of somebody, standing in front of them, and you try to add them to your guild or send them a message or add them as a friend, and the game will kick back an account not found. Trying to team up with somebody or group up with a party or add them to your guild or friend them or send them a message is virtually impossible for most players. I asked everybody on my Twitter and Facebook to give me their in-game names so I could add them. I sat here one day and added over 60 people, and out of those 60, I think maybe 9, or we'll give it 12 people did the game let me add. Everybody else, it said account not found. There was even times where somebody would message me in the game and typed out a new message, and then it told me account not found. That person just sent me a message. I know they have an account. Or again, like standing directly in front of a player and trying to add them in the game saying, nah, we don't know who this person is. That's very, very frustrating, and it makes playing with friends virtually impossible. It makes guilds pointless and group dungeons pointless as well, which is a whole part of the game that I'm missing, and it's a fucking MMO! I should be able to group up with people with one hit of a button and play with people seamlessly, but no. Elder Scrolls Online, we want you to play with others, but we don't actually want you to. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there were no story spoilers because I don't know what's going on in the story. That's something that I feel has been a huge problem in every Elder Scrolls game I've played. Oblivion, Skyrim, and Elder Scrolls Online. The story and the story pace is so poorly done. I don't give a fuck what's going on in the story. I don't care about any of the NPC characters. And the story pace, they throw so many missions at you, and so many like faction missions and guild quest missions and all this stuff that it's kind of just waters down the story and makes you forget what the hell's going on. I love lots of missions. I love it. But it's better when the missions that I'm doing and the side quests I'm doing are tied into the story that keep reminding me of what the bigger picture is and what's going on in the overall game. When I finally do get to another story mission, it's kind of like when somebody tells you something 3 months in advance and they come back to you 3 months later. It's like, hey, you remember when I told you that thing? And you're like, no, that was 3 months ago. How the hell am I supposed to remember that? That's the story in Elder Scrolls. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I don't want to know what the hell's going on because I'm not attached to the actual world and the lore of the game. And as I was saying, all the NPCs are personalityless. There's no NPC in this game that I give a fuck about, except for, I can't remember his name, but the guy that lives in the Harbonage or whatever, he's awesome because he's voiced by the guy that does Dumbledore. So when I go talk to him, close my eyes, I'm like, it's Dumbledore talking to me. Okay, so I like him for that. Other than that, I don't care about any of the NPCs. So why should I care about the story? That's really disappointing too, because I'd love to get immersed more into the game because of the story and the world. Instead, I'm just having a great time exploring and collecting loot and researching things and crafting new shit. I love it. So some of those things I think are pretty unexcusable, like the social aspect being completely, totally broken, and the fact that all the resources and chests you find out in the world are depending on who else gets there before you, and if somebody can lockpick it faster or whatever. I hate that. That doesn't really encourage people to want to play together. That actually pits people against each other. I have actually been in a running match with people a few times, trying to get to a chest before they did, or trying to get to, you know, that really rare iron ore. Right now I'm trying to get dwarven ore is my main thing, and people are in a running match to get it, and that just doesn't get people to want to play together. With that being said, if you play ESO, add me. I play on Xbox One, and my name is just Raychul, spelled R-A-Y-C-H-U-L, like usual. Add me, you'll probably get account not found. Hopefully they'll fix that. Yeah, overall, like I said, got some huge issues with the game, but having fun, exploring, and just doing my own thing, which, again, for me, as long as you have fun in the game, who the fuck cares why you like it? You're just having fun. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So add me. Hopefully it'll go through. If it does, I'll give you a guild invite. I think you can be part of like 4 or 5 guilds. I'm looking forward to level capping at 50 because I know a whole new game opens up and there's areas that I don't even get to yet until you're level 50, and there's types of items you can't even get yet until you're level 50, and new missions and new dungeons open up and all this stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that because I do get sad when a game basically ends when you hit level cap, and hopefully I'll see you guys in game. As always, thanks for watching.